Honestly, I could go for some Sid tunes right about now. Oh, look, my internet connection has decided to be a complete piece of junk. That's perfect. That's perfect. I might need to. Is it back? All right, I'm gonna say it's back. It's back. It's probably back. Who knows? Who knows if it's back or not? Evening, everyone. Yes, major F, ginormous amounts of F. Evening, bald engineer. How you doing? Uh, Welcome to this one-off, maybe, I don't know, Monday night stream. Over the weekend, I spent some time getting tonight's victim ready, and I just didn't want to wait till tomorrow. Plus, the local arcade is moving, and tomorrow is one of their painting days in the new space, so I thought I would go over there and help them tomorrow night. So I thought I'd just get this out of the way this evening. But I hope everyone out there is doing well. All right, I've actually remembered to hit record this time. So, yeah, happens to the best of us. Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys love your internet connections out there in West Virginia. I know it. But all right, to cut straight to the chase, if my camera will work, there we are. There's the Atari Lynx. So I'm trying a new camera tonight that is hopefully going to trade frame rate for clarity and macro capability. It's actually, you can see it in the front camera. It's this tube right here. It's basically a USB microscope. But I've come up with a ridiculous way that involves 3D printing and zip ties to mount it to my bar here, and so we'll see how it goes. Hey, Arcade Shopper, how you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, over the weekend I recapped it. I posted a big thread on Mastodon about that recap, and also removed the voltage inverter for the fluorescent backlight. A lot of folks just clip the V-in pin here, but I decided to take the whole thing out, because why not? I'll send this back to Pete. So this is not my Lynx. I don't own a Lynx. This belongs to a buddy of mine, Pete Fletcher, and he was just like, hey, this thing's screen sucks, and I turned it on, and it did indeed suck. It not only is it as bad as the original Lynx screen is now, but this particular one probably has like 10 or 15% of the pixels out at this point. It was really bad. So he wanted to get a new screen put in this. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take a stab at that. I looked at the videos, doesn't look too hard, so we're gonna sort of get on into that right now. But I did the recap because he sent me a full cap kit to install as well, and we've got some. Actually, I should probably get the rest of the kit now that I think about it. Yes, here it is. So this is. I got some 3D printed parts here to mount the screen, and then a bezel cover. Then there is also, oh no, where did I put it? He sent me replacement screen glass as well, which I had right there. There it is. I think. Nope, that's not it. Oh, these are the OLED displays I was looking for last week and complaining about that I couldn't find. I cannot find the replacement lens. That is not fun. I'm not happy about that. I thought I had it here on my bench because I'd been looking at the strategies for getting the old one off. All right, well, it'll turn up. Curses. Major curses. Well, it'll turn up, and it's not crucial for the main screen installation tonight. I'll do that in a bit. Oh, it's in with the display. Okay, good. I was like, how could I have lost that? Yeah. So here is replacement glass, and they say, yeah, I think it actually is glass. That's nice. And put that somewhere safe. And then here is the actual screen. So I'm gonna slip the anti-static wrist strap on now before I forget. Yoink. And this is the new IPS LCD, it's the BennVenn IPS. And these right here are all of the pads that we need to connect to. Oh, the other thing is this camera is manual focus, so I'm going to have to remember. But at least I can dial it in pretty good. So these are all the pads that connect to the existing pads where the ribbon cable goes. This right here would be for the flex cable that goes, if I were installing this in a Lynx 2, there's a quick solder flex cable that goes in here, but no such cable exists for the Lynx 1. So we're just doing this all going right to the pads. But hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. So there's the new screen. But the first task is to get the old screen out. So I buttoned this thing up so I would not lose any parts while it was sitting on the bench waiting for the recap to finish. Refocus. Nope. There. We'll see by the end of this stream if I'm ready to pack this stupid camera rig in or not, or if I'm still okay with the manual focus. All right. The Lynx has the back cover. The Lynx has 2 different size screws. Short ones go over the cartridge connector. Long ones go over the speaker. The back cover here, normally this battery case sort of stays with the unit when you remove the back cover, but because I've already disconnected it, it came with the back cover. And this is soldered on. This is such Trammell Atari. Everything is soldered in place. The battery holder is soldered into these contacts. The speaker is soldered into these contacts here. It's just, you know, an absolute fuck you to anyone who wants to try and repair these things. So I have soldered some little jumper wires onto these pads so I can run it off of my bench supply. That's how I'll be testing this initially, because he sent the power supply, the real power supply. It's a big chunky thing that is annoying on my desk, so I'm just going to use my bench supply. Plus it tells me the current, so I can verify that things look about right. And here is the main board. So I'll set this case aside. And I don't have to worry about scratching the lens because I'm replacing the lens. How is this looking to folks out there? So all these bright, shiny red Worth capacitors that I installed over the weekend. I had this shield off because there's a bunch of capacitors under here. There's one capacitor that likes to hide underneath the cartridge connector, and I've found exactly where I can have it stick out and not run into the brightness knob. Or is this the brightness knob? This is the brightness knob. One of these is the brightness knob, one of these is the volume knob. And not run into the knob. So that was tricky. But the entire circuitry of the Lynx is under here. It's 4 chips. 2 for the RAM, 1 for the CPU, and 1 for the Blitter/math coprocessor. It's an absolutely tiny machine. So, all right. First step is to get this backlight removed. Well, I guess we can remove the backlight afterwards. So this, here's the original LCD. Yeah, thanks, Amigos Retro Gaming. Appreciate it. And it has these little plastic attachment points here. Little plastic nuts and bolts almost that slide in and out of these little catches. So this just flops open like that, and then we have our ribbon cable down here. I'm going to try and move my bench light in a little bit better. See if that helps. It will help if I turned it up. There we go. the ribbon cable down there, so we'll have to desolder that, because you don't want to rip it off, because these crappy boards, you'll just rip the traces right off with it too. This is the brightness connector, so we'll have to do that one as well. And it's, let's see, it's got that ribbon in there, and it's also attached with these little bits of copper shielding here. So the first thing to do actually is probably get these bits of copper shielding off. It's going to take me a minute to sort out how exactly to manage this wrist strap with my soldering iron cord. So I'm going to start with the knife tip. Hey, Retro Hitch, what's going on? Your favorite handheld, nice. So I'm going to start with the knife tip on here. This is the tip I use for most through-hole work and big parts removal. Moves a lot of heat. And then I'm going to use this to remove the ribbon, and then when I put the new ribbon on, I'm going to switch to a smaller J-type tip. Probably like one of these. I will give this a shot and see how it goes. Force that ribbon off, yeah. I'm gonna get a light touch on this focus mechanism here so that y'all can see what the heck's going on. Lynx is a terror to work on. It's, yes, because it is Tramiel Atari, and Tramiel era Atari, everything is absolutely as cheap as it can possibly get. So the boards are crap, the parts are crap, the solder is crap, the shielding is crap, everything is soldered in place, nothing is connectorized. It's a pain in the carcass. Looking for my tweezers. So I'm just going to heat this up here and lift it. Now I'm being more careful than I really need to, because this display is of course coming off, and I don't have to worry about screwing it up. But even so, I'm going to try, it's good practice, not ruin anything with the soldering iron. Alright, so that's up. Now I can pull this back a little bit more. Yay! Yeah. Good old Tramiel era Atari. And that also goes the same to XE 8-bit Ataris. Their board is equally crap. And Atari STs, it's all bad stuff. So all right. The trick to this, I've heard, is just basically clean the iron off, and then oh, actually there's adhesive on this too. Oh, on the back as well. Let me see if I can lift that off, and then I might need to get the heat gun out a little bit to go through the adhesive on the front side, but maybe I don't. Atari CL03949-001 Lynx, Rev C. All right, so now, yeah. All right, so there's a little bit of glue. I gotta remember to get do my work underneath the camera. There's a little bit of glue, but not too much. I don't think I need to get the heat gun out. Hey, Commodore Chronicles. Yes, when Epix was designing this was the Handy game, or just the Handy. What it ended up, what they sort of code named it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with the brightness cable over here because it's kind of in the way. So I think I should basically be able to heat these guys up and lift gently. Well, this guy's got a lot of adhesive to it. I'll pull it up to the point where the adhesive is done. And then some people actually need to get the knife tip on. Yeah, okay. So just getting the knife tip sort of underneath the ribbon cable. seemed to do it. All right, that was pretty easy. So, ever played on Real Lynx hardware? I've played on one before, but I played on this for a little while. He sent me the California Games cartridge for, you know, for testing, for science. And so I played a little bit on that. It was okay. I did a little bit on the half pipe. So let me see if I can get this dialed in. Y'all can maybe actually see what I'm doing. I'm hoping that this improved camera makes it easier for folks to see what in the heck I'm doing with the iron. So we are going to try and just peel this back as we heat through. Now again, I'm trying to be more gentle than I really need to, because we're not saving this display. It's not worth saving even if I wanted to. Played a few games on emulation. Yeah, I think it is actually a decent library. All right, yeah, so I can just sort of get the knife tip underneath here, and I'm melting the heck out of the ribbon. But again, we don't need to save it. What we need to save here is the pads. All right, however, we also need to save Josh's eyeballs, because this is melting some nasty plastic. I need to bring in the fume extractor. Sorry. Yeah, it's got a big fluorescent bulb, and Commodore Chronicles, this is the high voltage module that I pulled out of it over the weekend when I did the recap. So yeah, full on fluorescent, which is why the batteries, well, part of the reason why the batteries didn't last worth a darn in this thing. All right, I'm just sort of slicing away at this thing with the knife tip on my iron, and it's coming right off. Yep, that's doing it. Slow and steady. I think I'm running my iron at 360, which honestly is a little high. I knocked that down to 340. Did you add flux? No, I did not, because I didn't want the flux boiling up and just coming right in my face, because I knew that I'm just gonna be slicing through this, and this is more or less how everyone I've seen do it does it. And we're off. Yeah, I mean, I could have attempted to do this with hot air, but my hot air station is terrible. That's the result, which is pretty disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, even if I could save this screen, it's not worth saving, because it looks like it looks terrible, and like 10% of the pixels, 10 or 15% of the pixels on this thing are already dead. I don't think hot air would have worked as well either. I think just use the iron, put the heat right exactly where it needs to be, and just to heck with the ribbon. If I were re-eyeing a Virtual Boy, I would probably be a little more careful. So now, Bald Engineer, now we are going to add flux. And then I'm going to come through here with my solder wick and just clean up all of these pads. Because after this, we get to attach individual wires to a bunch of these pads and run them over to the screen. Yay. And I'm mostly adding flux because I'm using up my crap desoldering braid. Which has almost no flux of its own. If this were super wick, I might not even need to do this. There we go. That's working pretty good. I'm going to turn my iron down a little bit, mostly because I'm scalding my fingers, because it heats up the wick. But again, anything I can do to avoid screwing up this board. Yeah, when I'm using wick, I pretty much always apply flux. It's just too good not to. Makes the job so easy. And I'm just lightly moving the wick across the pads, not applying too much pressure, not giving these pads any excuse to come loose from the board. They're left over here. All right. Almost got there. Okay. This first one up here, I didn't do such a hot job on. All right, that looks pretty good, I think. Get some ISO on that. Look at all that disgusting gunk. Combination of my flux, original manufacturing flux, and melted plastic from the ribbon, probably. Okay. So I'm thinking that my hypothesis of trading frame rate for clarity on the picture is actually paying off. Hopefully the picture quality is looking okay out there. I think I can dispatch with the fume extractor for the moment. So now, yeah, thanks. Hey, Retro Fox, how you doing? Oh, I need to clean up this guy. This is where we're going to pick up the brightness signal. All right. That looks pretty good. Clean up. Might actually see if I can try and get some of the adhesive off of this one. There's this big pad of adhesive right here. You can kind of see that held the original ribbon down. Going to grab another tool here real quick. This is a very trusty tool. It's a razor blade scraper with a plastic razor blade in it. Hey, Jelly Be Good, thank you so much for the 23 months. That's amazing. I almost can't believe I've been doing this for 23 months. I guess I've been doing it longer. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Yep, we're modding a Lynx 1 tonight. So I'm just going to use this little plastic razor blade to try and scrape up most of the adhesive off the board. And hopefully not scrape up any traces. That's the trick, isn't it? Move the adhesive and the adhesive only. That looks pretty good. More liberal use of isopropyl. How close I can. Actually, I know I can get this thing ridiculously close if I dial it in right. We'll make it. And sometimes just a thumbnail helps too. All right, well that's out of the way enough that I'll be able to solder my wires to it. Okay. Get rid of a little bit of spent wick here, hang on. All right. So now, let's zoom out. This arm doesn't quite keep its boom level for the entire up and down cycle. So I have to fight with it just a little bit because this camera's depth of field is pretty spectacularly shallow. All right, so now we have, I think we're ready for all the fun. So this is my little cheat sheet, came from AtariGamer.com, where Pete got the parts. So we're going to tap one wire off here for the brightness. And then it's kind of interesting. There's a clock signal. There's 4 data pins. And then there are 1, 2, 3 address lines. The way the original screen worked, I think, is it was basically split up into 3 segments. And so these data lines are repeated in each, actually a lot of these lines are repeated in each of these 3 zones of the pad. So it's basically like 3 LCDs in one almost, at least from the point of view of the controller. And then we need power and ground, so we'll pull them off the sides of this capacitor. And then whatever this res is at test point 27. And there we go. That's the mod. So for power and ground, I've got some slightly to the Game Gear screen work. Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. I've got some slightly heavier 24 gauge wire that I'm going to use for power and ground. This thing doesn't take much power, even with the LED, so I think 24 gauge should be fine. And then I've got my unpronounceable Chinese name solid core 30-ish gauge, might be 28, I forget. Does it even say anywhere? It says on the Amazon label 28 gauge solid core. I'm not going to use the 30 because that's too much of a pain in the butt. Mostly because my stripper doesn't go down to 30 and I have to use the blade. See if that's, no, that's not important. So yeah, I guess let's bust our screen out. And this thing is just kind of gonna go like that, I think. And then it just flips up like that when you finally install it. Now, you know what? I really should make sure that I have this the right way around. If you do !topic in chat, there's links to tutorials about the installation. And one of them I'm going to be following. All right, so they're wiring it with, yeah. This part is far away from the screen. All right, so this is the correct orientation, I think. So this will go into the case like this. I'm gonna move the old screen out of the way because we will not need that ever again. Ever, 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 he says. It came with this 3D printed alignment tool that I can't tell. Does it go like this? I think it might actually go like this with the lettering up to us. Except I need to have this the right way around. That can't be right. It has to go like this because otherwise it doesn't support the screen. Instructions are a little vague, not gonna lie. All right, so that like this. All right, I'm just going to rearrange everything on my bench to match the picture online. Let me check and make sure. Yeah, all right, you can kind of see it. Sorry, this camera has a shallower field of view than the other one. All right, so then that is going to go like that. Okay. And then, nope. You fail. I think I have the spacer in wrong. Yeah, the big part of the spacer needs to go at the top. So, okay. All right, fine. I did. That wants to go like that. Wants to go like that. So, okay, you have to put the screen in first. That's bizarre and a half. I wonder if this might be the place where I have to cut those little nubs out. Yes, I think so. All right, so anyway, this will go in like that. Yeah. And then it'll connect to these pads here. So, okay. Anyway, this is the orientation we need for installing the wiring. So let's get the wiring going. Regardless of the physical installation, I can worry about that later. Let's get the electrical installation done now. I still have the protective cover on this LCD. All right, so now, oh, I should have turned my iron off. What I should have done, because I need to swap tips. That is a thing I need to do. So on this TS100 iron, just take and loosen this set screw there. And then that just pops out, which frankly I can do with pliers, even if it hasn't cooled down yet. And then advantages of a wooden bench, I'll just set it right here. And then we'll put the J tip on. Angled up like this. Yes, that looks good. Fasten that down. Otherwise it likes to come loose on you while you're soldering. Just waiting for my knife tip to cool down so I can put it back in the stand. All right. Iron is configured. So I think the next thing really is I need to cut some wires. And I want these just long enough that we'll be able to open the unit up afterward with the screen installed. So I probably want them about that long. Yeah. That's probably the minimum length. All right, and we've got, so I'm going to use some blue wires for our data. Arbitrarily decide that this is the right length. And cut a bunch of those. Actually, if I were smart, I would make them different colors. So that I can keep the data bits separate in my mind. If we swap the data bits, that's going to be unfun. And I'm making these just a little tiny bit longer each time. Now, Changing colors is a great idea. Thanks. Yeah, I was just thinking, going, wait a minute. If these are all blue, yeah, they'll look nice laid out next to each other. It's like, look at all my blue data lines. And then I'll be like, God damn it, which bit is which? So now actually, I should have thought of this before and gotten it ready. I'm going to grab a little bit of heat shrink because I'm going to use that for wire management. Bag of random crappy heat shrink tubing. I'm going to grab a little larger size. I think I should be able to get them all through this. Um, 4 data, 3 address, and CL2. Nope, I need slightly larger. Yay, picking heat shrink size. Riveting television. All right, this should do the trick. And for this, what I like to do is just cut little tiny pieces like this. And then I slip a couple of them over the wire loom. We feed all our wires through it as we go, and then when we're done, we shrink it down, and it's like a zip tie, but with no stupid zip part for you to get in the way. All right. Looks like my internet is still cooperating. Just barely. Well, I guess I'm gonna strip one end just a little bit longer than the other, if you can see that, which you kind of can't. Maybe against that you can sort of see. Because I'm going to strip a pretty short end, maybe not that short. And that's the one that's going to go onto this pad here on the display. And then a slightly longer one, because that's going to go onto this pad on the actual Lynx. Sorry, I'm doing all this off camera. I tried, so I have 2 cameras mounted on this arm. I have this webcam, and then I have my little microscope. And I tried to have them both connected at the same time so I could get a, macro or wide bench shot. But USB gets very unhappy with me when I have that many isochronous devices connected to my hub. So, nope, I get to pick one or the other. All right. So it's D2, D0, D3, and D1, all in that order. All right. So our short wire goes on to D2. Now I will turn on my iron. I think 320 should be sufficient. And we're gonna tin these pads. Bring this in so you all can see a little bit better. Sorry, gotta turn the fume extractor on again. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just tin them all because they all need to be tinned. And brightness up here. Alrighty. There they are. Get my magnifiers on and just inspect these, make sure I didn't bridge anything. No, that looks pretty good. So there's one more pad down here for scan lines. And I guess it has some sort of scan line emulator on it. I'm just going to assume that that is a terrible thing and no one really wants to look at it. And I'm not going to hook it up, especially since I don't even see instructions on where it's supposed to connect to. So, yeah. Total number of connections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's only 12 connections. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wire up all of the data lines. I'm going to go ahead and put some flux down so I can actually wire up these data lines. This wire is crap. Okay. So I'm going to do another thing that I often like to do, which is I'm going to just jam the wire here into the tube, into the front of my flux tube to coat it with flux. So that when I come down here to make the connection, it itself is fluxed. And we'll make the pad connection a little bit better. All right. Okay. That's good. And last one for the data lines. Okay. And now I'm going to take and slip our cable management, not zip tie substitute, our heat shrink. over the group of wires. All right, so now we have our little cable management ties here, and this will wind up, you know, being more or less like that. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this pays off. Now we get to count pins, or pads rather. So I'm going to place this here. So I can see it, and then bring this in so you all can see it. And these are now in the right order, and I have to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to A3. So that's the first pin we need to tag is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I managed to tin 6 as well, but that's fine. All right. So on this side, all right, so I'm gonna start on this side because that is where the data pins are in here somewhere, and that's what we've got wired so far is our data lines. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, they're actually numbered. They're actually numbered on my cheat sheet. So I don't have to count there, I just have to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's CL2, which I have not run a wire for yet, but I suppose that I could. I'm going to say that that looks okay. All right, so the rest of these wires, I think, are going to wide enough places that I'm not going to bother putting them through the heat shrink. I think my cable management goal here was a little too ambitious. We're just going to wire this up. CL2. Stop moving on me. That sucked. Excuse me. Then I'll strip enough on this side to tack down to the pin, flux it. Let's see how this goes.
Not the slightest bit fun is the answer. Not the slightest bit. All right. Let me see if I can get a good enough shot of this, because this is just kind of the crap we have to deal with. There's a big old blob there. And no, it's not actually shorted to the pin next to it, even though it looks like it is. The pitch there is just stupidly fine, and I hate it so much. But okay, back to the show. Yeah, how do I really feel? I feel like, how do I feel? I feel like if this were a Commodore, I wouldn't be putting in this much effort. Only because I'm saving an Atari. All right. 15. A1, the next pin. Okay, that works way, way better. Load this little tiny tip up with solder, flux everything, and tap it down, and suddenly your excess solder does what it's supposed to do. All right, we like that. Let's. Oh, this wire is stupidly short. What did I do that for? Well, all right, A1, fine. All right, so this is 9, so I need to count over 6 more. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's the one on this little via. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This guy comes in just like that. All right. That's pretty decent. A1, A1. Now I get my data lines. So D1, which is our top one, which is green, comes in. So the whole next 4 pins are all the data pins. So not only do we need to solder to them, we need to not bridge it to its neighbors. I'm going to redo this because I need a little extra space. All right. That's better. All right. D1, D1. And I just dropped a solder blob right onto the Lynx. So, Bald Engineer, do you ever use the J-type tips, JO2, etc.? I'm wondering if, like, I know these tips I have aren't particularly good, but it doesn't really actually want to take solder at the small part. Or anyone else in this hobby, have you ever used these little tiny tips? And do you see the point? Because I'm kind of not seeing the point right now. All right, D1, D1.
Tip probably oxidizes so fast. Yeah, that's probably that's about how it feels.
All right, D3, which is the next one, which is white. All right. More flux, more flux. D0, yellow. All right, and D2, blue. That's a little too long. Need to trim you down. All right. They're tacked. Just barely. I'm going to want to secure these guys a little better, but they're on there like that. All right. One more close-up inspection. Close-up inspection. Close-up inspection. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right. Sorry, I keep hitting the thing with my magnifier. Okay. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. The first of this group to go up this way with the vias. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. It should only be 64. Why did I count to 65? Yeah, the joke works way better in person. And then I can, you know, slap the person in person making that joke in person. $64, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's 60. 59, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 60. No, 50. 49, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 40. 39, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 20. No, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. My count back this way indicates that I'm off by 1, and I hate that. That is not fun. All right, I'm going to count from this way. Again, I'm sorry, you all have to listen to this, but I want to make sure I get this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's right. Okay. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's right. 20, the last one I've tinned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. 61. Yeah, there's just more pads than they have listed here. Anyway, 60. This pad right here. Anyway, 37, which I think we said was right here. Right. All right, 37. It's our next target. It's the last one of those with the via. Going like that. So let's see what we can do with it. Let's see, this pin is A2, so I need to cut a wire for A2. Slightly longer wire. It would. It absolutely would help, Bald Engineer, and I should really do that. At least mark key points. Because my repetitive counting is starting to annoy even me. All right. Zoom out. And focus, focus, focus. Yeah. Just down here. Bingo. And A3. Getting that Sharpie. Look at me. Two different colors of Sharpie. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 30. All right, so this guy right here, 30. Right there at that via. Absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's correct. Got that word correct. 8, 39, 40, 41, 42. All right, 43. The first of these ground traces. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 52. At that via right there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. Right here at this via. So this is the one that we want to tag. That's 60. Yeah, they both work exactly. Which I seem to have gotten remarkably lucky in that, because they both do seem to work. All right, A3, and we need another wire, so we're going to go yellow. A3. Here. Trying to cut this something of the right length. Stop this stupid thing from moving. Oh no, I bridged them. Oh no. All right. There. Good shot of my screw up here. All right. Let's try this again. All right, that seems to work. I kind of screwed up the data line underneath it. So we're going to try and okay. That's fixed. Now we have the last of these lines to attach. So 60, flux it, flux the wire. Load the iron. Y'all can't see what I'm doing. Move the camera. Unwrap the solder from around the capacitor on the Lynx. Okay. It tried to bridge, but I was able to drag it off. So that, I believe, is all of the wires onto here. There's one more wire to this brightness pad down here. Just going to try and move this a little bit out of my way. All right, so that goes way up there. To the top of this board. I'm sorry, y'all can't see a darn thing. Zoom out. Zoom out. The brightness connector is up here at the top. Flux that guy, flux that guy. All right, yeah. So the key to success here is just actually being able to clean off enough oxide from my tip to be able to get enough solder on it. This guy has this Zener diode in the way. But I think I can tack it like this. Yes is the answer. Let's see if I can get this last wire tacked down here. Bullseye. Okay, now there's a few more wires that go off to the various parts of the board. 5-volt ground, of course, and this res is the last small signal wire. So let me figure out, it goes to test point 27, it says. And I'm not seeing any test points labeled on this side of the board. So I wonder if it's, yeah, test points are all labeled on this side of the board. Let's see if I can find test point 27. There's 26 over here by a couple of diodes. 12. 13. I'll bet the web page will give me a visual indicator, so I'm going to go back to that. And all right, so actually this web page, I just realized, is a little bit different version of the board. So that's not going to help me locate test point 27. Crap. All right. 26, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 17, 15, 25, getting close, getting real close, 21, 20, 11. They're all circled in the silk screen, so it shouldn't be too terribly hard to spot all my test points. (22, 24, 25, 23. I feel like I should be getting really close. I'm also afraid that I've covered it with a capacitor. Got as far as test point 25. After that, I lose my test points. unless it's not clustered around here with the other, unless it's not near 24 and 25. Just because they go in numerical order doesn't always mean that they are there. Because they can always add them later and annotate them later, as we all know. In the videos that I watched, I did not see anybody remove this shield here. So I don't think it's under the shield. I only removed the shield because I was recapping the device at the same time. I might have to go find the video. Oh, there's test point 26. You know what? While I'm on this, I'm gonna shut the iron off. Get rid of this J tip because it's a pain in the butt. Say test point 27. Yeah, it's test point 27 on the Lynx 1. If you're Googling, as I suspect you are. I'm going to put my knife tip back on. So I think everything else I need to do can be done with the knife tip. And I just realized I'm sort of wrenching these guys a little bit. I think maybe I should take this opportunity to clean them up and glue them down. Or at least tape them down. Before I break any of the work that I've done over the last, I don't even know how long. What time is it? 8 o'clock. All right. I think it's time for some Krapton tape. And we're just going to put a big bunch of tape right across all these. Gotta take this magnifier off for a minute. It's kind of killing my ears. Side C42 near the corner. Okay. Good find, Aaron. Thank you. All right. Let's see if we can find it. C42. That's C39. $77, 44. C42, is that a surface mount or is it an electrolytic? Nope, that's C22. Like, I hope you don't mean one of these corners over here covered by this stupid shield. I believe it's right near the ribbon. SC45. Test point 20. There are no capacitors on this side. Point 19, 11, 18. Discord you the page. All right, yeah, thanks. It's been a long day, and my eyes are failing me. The other thing I need to do, the reason I put the knife tip on there is that I need to finish getting this backlight assembly off. Yeah, so that's the guide I'm looking at. Oh, no. Okay, so yeah, what you're looking at, Aaron? I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. What you're looking at is this, and yeah, that's just a wiring guide. That's not actual board placement. Although I do need to find C42 because that's where it tells us to pick up power. Oh, here's C42 right there. So it is these guys, power and ground. Ground being over here, power. So I could go ahead and just set that up now. Go ahead and cut that. Hey Squire, how's it going? Thanks for the lurk. It's a bit of a boring spot in the install right now where Josh looks around the board and tries to find the last few points noted in the guide in order to hook all this stuff up. Again, power. Yeah, 5 volts. All right, I'm going to bring Now I'm going to put my old man eyes back on, bring the iron back up to temperature. Try and get some freaking solder melted on it. These two lovely traces right here, very clearly power and ground. This is stranded wire, so I need to tin it first before I try and make this joint, or I will be sad. Then tack this on here. That's good there. Let's get a ground. Ground actually can be slightly shorter. Oh, whoops. I just grabbed my signal wire, not my power wire. Don't do that. The install guides specifically warn against using crappy wire for power and ground. Because I guess a lot of people like to use 28 or 30 gauge wire for everything, including power and ground. And that is a no-no. All right, power and ground. Oh, I forgot to strip this side too, didn't I? So that's ground. Power. Oh no, I didn't. I got it there. Okay. That's a little long. I'm gonna redo that. I do have to eventually get all these wires back inside the shell. Back inside the console. Caps that leak, or is this a no fishy smell stream? This is a no fishy smell stream. Do the Lynx caps leak? So I don't think of the Lynx as a console with leaky caps. This is just kind of I had it on the bench anyway, and Pete was just like, yeah, go ahead and do the recap, because we're going through all the trouble. I am of the opinion, hang on just a second, let me tack this. I am of the opinion that all caps of this age need to go, regardless of whether they are known problematic or not, because they all have a life, and we're pretty close to having exceeded them. The problem, as though there were only one problem. A problem that we run into is people being told, yeah, everything needs a recap, or recaps solve all the problems, or, you know, oh, you're having this problem, recap it. And
if you're not very good at rework, particularly on something like this Lynx, which doesn't tolerate a lot of heat and doesn't tolerate a lot of rework, you're going to do more damage. Like, you have a functioning machine before, and you go to recap it because you feel like you need to, or maybe it has a problem that wasn't actually related to the caps. You recap it, you do more damage during the recap, and now you're worse off. I have the tools and the experience to be able to do a safe recap. So these days I pretty much just recap everything, even if it doesn't need it. And I know a lot of folks don't like that approach. But that's my approach, because I know these things have a service life. They also apparently have a test point 27, which I cannot freaking find. Anywhere on this stupid board. Also, welcome, Girl Geek. How are you? And more importantly, do you know where test point 27 is on a Lynx 1? All right. Well, I'm going to get this backlight off of the machine. So it's held on with these two screws, and then also with some solder pads, but I think it looks like I've already desoldered it. I probably desoldered it when I had the vacuum gun out. So let's see if this comes loose now. Almost. Let me knock this thing loose. All right, that wire. All right. It's apparently also a little bit of adhesive. You would totally do that to me, wouldn't you?
Bald engineer. Probably as payback for my Commodore
insult earlier in the stream. All right, let's see if this comes loose. It does. Yay. The fluorescent backlight has been freed. That's why you had to clarify. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, it's a long-running gag between me and Bald Engineer. Me insulting Commodore and him insulting Atari. Both knowing full well that we own several of both machines. It's just fun to pick sides as though we were on a playground in the early 90s or something. Late 80s. I don't know. Probably early 90s when none of it was relevant. We were all fighting over which irrelevant machine was the better irrelevant machine. Shows being connected to the trace between R29 and Mikey. Oh no! That is not good. Because if it's down here between R29 and Mikey, that means it's under this stupid shield. This massive shield here. And there probably is a test point that someone picks it up around here. I might have to go look at Mr. Lurch's video and see how Mr. Lurch did it. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Paging Dr. Mouse. There we are. Let's see. I think we're over here on my other screen. Yay. All right, I can kind of see where they have res connected, and okay, yeah, so they have it connected to this test point right here. Sharp's better than all of it. I mean, the Sharps are good machines. The Sharps are good machines. This is true.
I honestly have no idea how they compare to any of it. All right, I'm going to cut this just like it is. It's just like that. My wires keep getting shorter and shorter every time I clip a new one. All right. I'm just going to hope that flux saves me here. And I absolutely hope that flux saves this. All right. That's on. And same over here. Res. All right. And finally, ground. Nope, I need to tin that, which means I need to flux it. Do. Okay, so it turns out making these joints with the knife tip works perfectly fine. Works perfectly fine. I didn't have to use the hook tip at all. The knife tip works splendid. Splendid. All right. At this point, it should all be hooked up. You may now place your bets as to whether or not it is going to destroy itself when we apply power. Because that's the next step, is to apply power to this sucker. You bet it will work or not. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that vote of confidence and non-confidence. I appreciate it. So we will just start with our basic electrical safety checks. Yeah, I suppose I could do a prediction if I had like mods sitting around to set up a poll or something. Let's see. All right. Here is our power pads. I'm gonna flip this thing over. So let's see what we got on power here. Mega ohms. That's what we want to see. Mega ohms. And now this power and ground pads here. Power looks good. All right, which means this is almost certainly ground right here on this shield. Ground looks... Ground looks bad. Ground looks horribly, horribly bad. Assuming that that's ground. Well, this is almost certainly ground right there. Yeah, that's ground. Yeah, this Tracy's not ground. Tracy is not ground. I know we can pick up ground right here. So we're going to rerun this ground wire. I'm going to cut a new ground wire, and we're going to run it over there. I don't like this. They say to pick it up at this end of C42. Yeah, no. No. We're going to do something else. Going off script. All right. I'm going to cut another ground wire, and we're going to go over to this shield. Different revs do the Lynx have in the first model? I have no idea. This one calls itself on the board Rev C, and then there's a 5 in that in the square. So I don't know how many revs they had in production. And the instructions, despite the fact that this kit I think has been available for a while now, the instructions are still just like not great. So here's my little trick for tinning this multi-core wire. Get a little bead of flux right here and just drop it on the wire. And then I can take the heavily loaded iron tip here and just tap it, and that flux just sucks the solder up onto the wire, and now it's nicely tinned. So this guy can come down here. That is very good, very solid ground. We like it. Just a shade more flux in this ground pad here. Whoops. Put my static strap back on. Console modder faux pas. Hey Tex, how's it going? All right, that's ground. So now, come back to our meter. You've arrived just in time for the moment of truth, Tex. That's a good connection right there. That. Oh, are you freaking kidding me? All right. I got them swapped. That's the plus V on that side. I just connected them both to ground. Like an idiot. All right, see, this is why we check things. Yeah, they were flipped. They were flipped, exactly. But yeah, this is why we check things. Always check your work. So we will just detach you and reattach you over here. All right, now we should be measuring kiloohms between DC and ground. And we are, well, high numbers of ohms. High numbers of ohms. This looks good. That looks about right. I think we are finally at last ready to attempt application of power. Dial in my focus a little bit here, sorry. So for that, let's see. Oh, it won't power on without a cartridge, so let's get a cartridge. Goes in like this. Yeah, I'm a little nervous too, not gonna lie, Aaron. I'm a little nervous too. I don't know if this is Pete's, like, childhood Lynx, or if it's just, you know, all Lynx that he has. But yeah, I'm feeling it. So I'm going to turn the bench power supply on. Set to 9 volts. I'm going to set it to half an amp. I don't know if that's actually enough, but I'd rather start off too low. Now I have to bring everything over here so I can connect the power supply. I got little shorty leads. So let me get this situated, and then I'll move the camera. All right. I actually have to. Well, you know what? I have to have it like this, because I got to be able to get to the power button, because the Lynx is software power controlled. So I have to be able to hit this on button, which I think is right there. This is a colossal disaster here. All right. Yeah, all right. Everything looks okay. We're going to turn on the power. All right. And we're drawing 0, which is what we expect right now. Sorry, I don't have any overlay for my power supply. But let's see if I can turn it on. So, trying to use my tweezers here to short the power on, and that's not working. So let me get the thing. Oh, it's probably this one. There we are. That's on. I heard it turn on and immediately hit current limit. Now, the official power supply for this thing says it's an amp. And I have to figure that we have to draw less now that we've gotten rid of that massive fluorescent backlight. But let's see. All right, 9 volts. Well, we max out even at 800 milliamps. So, That's not the best feeling in the world. Let me set it to an amp. That's all the OEM power supply is rated for. Nope. All right, something is definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. Definitely. Yeah, it immediately current limits. All right, let me disconnect the 5 volts and ground. I'm going to disconnect the power here, and I'm going to measure on these power points and make sure I'm really picking up the power that I think I'm picking up. All right. No power connected to the display. I'm not just like shorting my wires here either, am I? No, they're okay. All right, we're we're going to take this back down to 500 milliamps. And then, magic thing. All right, so we're drawing 80 milliamps, which is what it was drawing before when I had the old screen disconnected. All right, so that's running. In fact, I'll bet if I reattach the speaker now, I bet we will hear the sultry sounds of California games starting up. All right, that's a bad joint, but I don't care, it's temporary. All right, speaker is attached. Flip this back over. Set. Let me get these, make sure these wires aren't doing anything evil. Stray power wires. All right. Yep, speakers engaged. And it takes a second to load, because amazingly, Atari managed to make a console with cartridges and load time. There we go. All right, so good news, the machine still works. So there is something up with power through this. All right, sorry, I was going to measure the power supply from our test points here. So let's do that. Let me turn this back on. Turn this back on. Then let's get this into DC volts. Show the top side of the kit? I sure can. All right. Nope, ground here. Oh, would you look at that? It was not flipped. I made an erroneous assumption. But this makes no sense. All right. It's saying that this is +5 and this is ground, which is ridiculous because nobody puts a shield at 5 volts. So this has to be ground. This shield has to be ground. All right. Let's see. Girl Geek, you want to just see the I'm sorry, this part of the kit. Which part did the shield get shorted to something on the board? I don't know. That's a good question. I suppose I should endeavor to figure that out. I mean, the top side of this is just the LCD screen. Still have the protective cover installed here. I wonder if that was some sort of negative supply that I was on. The side with the wires. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, do you want to... let me see if I can get a better picture. There we go. And focus. There we go.
So that's the board, IPS V1 Rev 3. I think he's had it for a while and just has not gotten anyone to install it yet. I mean, if the shield were shorted to V plus, we would just see the whole thing shorted right now, and it's running right now. So I seriously doubt that anything is shorted. There's all of these parts right here where the shield is soldered down. I mean, those have to be ground, because you would be insane, like even more insane than Jack Tramiel Atari, to put your shield at V plus rather than ground. Kit has a pad that has to be shorted to make it for a Model 1. Okay. Is that a different kit than this? Let me look over the instructions again. This doesn't look like it. Okay. I mean, I didn't actually verify that this was the kit, but well, hang on. It has the Lynx 1 LCD kit, add protection Zener. Yes. Lynx, yes. It clearly says this is the Lynx 1 kit that he bought. So unless be under the ribbon cable, the 1-2 mark. Oh. Yeah, this board is more or less permanently attached. I don't feel like disconnecting the ribbon cable. I'm sorry. Let's see what's anything written in there. Pad that needs to be shorted for a Lynx 1. It goes C1, 1, 2, short this. CD. Well, all right. I mean, I can lift the what time is it? Getting close to the point at which I'm going to pack this in for the night. But all right, if I lift up this, very carefully remove the ribbon. One, two. All right, so it is shorted. It is shorted. It is this right there. 1, 2. Okay, let me check. Thank you. Yeah, short Lynx 1, open Lynx 2. Yes, all right, so they have properly configured this for a Lynx 1 at the factory, at the store, whatever. Good catch, thank you. I think the problem is just that I was giving it backwards power, and I don't know why I was giving it backwards power.
I haven't like got the leads switched on my multimeter or anything. But this, so if we assume that this is ground, it says to pick up power off of C42. And that was C42, but maybe there's just a better place to pick up power. Maybe we need to find a better place to pick power up on this board. So I'm going to turn it on again. Find my probes. Put this on our ground. All right, that's nothing. That's -5 or -4.8. Turn down the Louie Louie. I wonder what the V in pin to the high voltage is. That's again -5. I'm like looking at my meter to see if I have it in like some sort of opposite mode, because this is just absolutely the most bizarre thing I have ever seen. All right, that's measuring 9 volts ish. It's like this really is +5. +5 and ground. All right, I need to spend a little bit more time with the schematic, figure out where to get this power from, because this is truly baffling that this shield would be showing up as +5 on my meter. So that is a strange mystery wrapped in an enigma. And it's just about 9 o'clock. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call this right now. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to fire it up and see it work. I got to figure out where to get power. But after that, you know, I will post pictures on Mastodon or Discord if you're on my Discord. Yeah, it's really bizarre. I am thoroughly baffled by what I am seeing here. So yeah, let me read up a little bit more on the power. Find the right place to get +5 for this thing, and then I'll wire in the power, and hopefully that'll be it. Because obviously, machine's running. It's running the game. It's playing the game. But without power, the screen ain't gonna be very happy. Yeah, definitely take a step back right now. It's like, oh, my shield is at 5 volts. What? Unless, you know, everywhere I'm thinking that everywhere I'm measuring, I'm like on a -5 rail or something. So I need to find the +5 rail and figure out what in the heck is going on. But anyway, thanks everyone for your help. I really appreciate it as always, because I always seem to manage to get myself into trouble on these streams. It's, you know, like I'm doing something I've never done before. So I appreciate everyone's help. Hope everyone has a good week. I'm not going to be back at this tomorrow. My local arcade is moving, and they need help prepping the new space, painting and cleaning and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to give them a hand tomorrow night. And then next week, they actually move all the machines. So I may or may not do a Monday stream next week as well. We'll see. Monday's actually kind of nice to stream on, you know? Thanks, I will. It's a great place. I love my local arcade. I used to be a volunteer tech there. Haven't had time for it recently, but it's a cool place to hang out. And they got all sorts of old machines, about half pinball, half video. 109 machines they said they have to move.
And I bet it's a pretty close to a 50-50 split between video and pinball at this point. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Let's see if there's... Nope, let's sit on the stool, not next to the stool. Take a look, see if there's anyone we should raid. Yeah, not seeing anyone on right now because it's Monday and I usually raid people on Tuesday. So I think I'm just going to cut it off and go back to the drawing board. So I will see you all next time. I'll announce in the usual places whether I'm doing a Monday or a Tuesday stream, but it'll probably be a Monday stream actually now that I think about it. So have a good week, stay safe, play some Atari, you know, keep up with your Commodores, whatever Sharp's saying is, I don't know. And I'll see y'all later.